My dear friends, welcome to Rajashekhar classes on applied data science with Python. This is lecture number 156. In this lecture, we will try to understand hypothesis testing for two sample tests. Hypothesis testing about the difference in two sample means. What is the theory behind two sample test? Look at this picture. See, there are two populations, population 1 and population 2, isn't it? Suppose if I take some sample from population 1, this is my population 1, from this population let me take some sample. Find the sample mean. How can I find sample mean from first one? X1 bar equal to sigma xi by n1. This is my first sample mean. There is another population. This is another population, green color. This is population 2. From this population, let me collect population. I am collecting a sample x2 bar. X2 bar is sigma of x by n2. That is my x2 bar, isn't it? This first one is, this one I can say, what is this? Sampling distribution of x1 bar, isn't it? This one is sampling distribution of x2 bar. Mean of sampling distribution of x1 bar is, let me say, mu1. This mean of mean of sampling distribution of x1 bar is mu1. Mean of sampling distribution of x2 bar is mu2. Let me say this mean is mu2, isn't it? Variance is, how can I calculate variance? Sigma x1 bar whole square equal to sigma 1 square by n1. What about this one? Sigma variance means what? Sigma square of x1 bar. Here variance of this one, sigma square of x2 bar equal to sigma 2 square, sigma 2 square by n2. Can I say like this? What does it mean? This is variance of x1 bar. I can say variance of x1 bar. What about this? This is variance of x2 bar, isn't it? Suppose if I find difference of their sample means, and if I plot the difference x1 bar minus x2 bar, I have first sample mean x1 bar, I have second sample mean x2 bar. If I plot this x1 bar minus x2 bar, isn't it? This is the plot of x1 bar minus x2 bar. Let me repeat. If I plot the difference x1 bar minus x2 bar, that follows normal distribution. Mean of this particular distribution is population. I can say that is mu1 minus mu2, isn't it? The population, mean of this population, I can say mean of this population is mu1 minus mu2. The variance of this population is, how can I calculate? First one variance is, let me say, sigma 1 square by n1. Second one variance is sigma 2 square by n2. I need variance of first one minus first population variance is sigma 1 square by n1. This is my first population variance. What is second population variance? Sigma 2 square by n2. Variance of this entire distribution is, I can say, if you want to know the difference of the first population variance and second population variance, we have to add the variances. We know that the formula variance of A minus B equal to variance of A plus you will get variance of B, isn't it? Therefore, variance of this first variance minus second variance is essentially, as formula says, variance of A minus B equal variance of A plus variance of variance of A plus variance of B. The variance of the blue curve is nothing but sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2, isn't it? This is just simple formula one can apply. We will try to understand how these concepts are useful. This is the classification of different two sample tests, isn't it? One classification is population means independent samples. Samples may be independent, isn't it? Population means independent samples. Second one is population means dependent samples. Here you have independent samples, here you have dependent samples. That comparison you must understand. Population means dependent samples. Population proportions, this one is population proportions, this one is population variances, isn't it? I can say this is classification of population. I can say this is classification of different two sample tests. How can I? Let me explain these with this simple example. In the population mean, for independent variables, we will compare. In this case, what happens? We will compare. For this one, we will compare group 1 and group 2. These two groups, group 1 versus group 2, these two groups are independent groups. That you must understand. Group 1 versus group 2. Both the populations are independent. In the population mean for dependent samples. What about this? In the population mean for dependent variables, same group, you have same group, they are not independent groups, same group before and after treatment. That's important. In the case of dependent samples, you are choosing same group before treatment and after treatment. These are dependent samples. In the population proportions, there are two populations. Next one, I think this third one. In the population proportions, there are two populations. Proportion 1, I can say this is proportion 1 from population 1, and proportion 2, that is from population 2, another population. Similarly, for comparing variance of two populations, population variances, variance 1 from population 1, variance 2 from population 2. First we will start with the difference between two means. How will it be? What is the difference between two means? Just see, first case, population means independent samples. This is my first case. In this independent samples, I have another classification. Sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square known, sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square unknown. In this class, we will try to understand this one. What is that? Sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square are known. If sigma 1 square and I will discuss other cases in my next class. What is this? Sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square known in population means independent samples. Samples are randomly, these are the assumptions. Samples are randomly and independently drawn. Both population distributions are normal. Population variances are known. That's what it says. Sigma 1 square, isn't it? Population variances known means what? This must be the case. Population variances are known. Both population distributions are normal distributions. Now, this is simple problem. A product developer is interested in reducing drying time of Premier paint. Two formulations of the paint are tested. Formulation 1 is the standard chemistry and formulation 2 has new drying ingredient. There are two formulations, isn't it? Formulation 1, formulation 2 has new drying ingredient that should reduce the drying time. From experience, it is known that standard deviation of drying time is 8 minutes. This is my standard deviation, and the inherent variability should be unaffected by the addition of the new ingredient. 10 specimens are painted with formulation 1 and another 10 specimens are painted with formulation 2. My first sample size is 10, my second sample size is also 10, isn't it? The 20 specimens are painted in random order. x1 bar means my first sample mean, x2 bar means my second sample mean. Alpha is given. Even standard deviation is also given, isn't it? Now we have parameters. This problem we collected this particular book, Applied Probability Statistics for Engineers by Douglas C. This is a famous textbook. One can understand, one can learn, one can solve these problems from this book. This book is very famous book. Now what I have to do, just I must formulate what is the question, what I have to check. Conclusion: can product developer draw out the effectiveness of the new ingredient? Effectiveness means researcher. What is researcher hypothesis after including that new ingredient, whether it is effective or not? That what is researcher hypothesis? It must be greater than. That is alternative hypothesis. What about your null hypothesis, mu1 equal to mu2, and alternative hypothesis, as it is after including that particular chemical or ingredient, your effectiveness must be increased, means mu1 is greater than mu2. This is my alternative hypothesis, means alpha equals 0.05. In question itself it's given. My formula says my test statistics is x1 bar minus x2 bar by sigma 1 square by n1 under root of sigma 2 square by n2. We know what is x1, first sample mean, what is x2, second sample mean, n1, first sample size is 10, second sample size is also 10, sigma 1 square standard deviation is same for both the cases, that's 8. Therefore just I am writing sigma 1 square plus sigma 1 square equal sigma 2 square 8 square, that's 64, n1 equal 10 to. Just what I have to do, reject null hypothesis. What is my calculated value? What is my reject h0? H0 means mu1 equal to mu2. When can you reject? If z0 is greater than, this is tabulated value at 5% level of significance. This is z value. This tabulated value you can calculate from Python code, or there is a standard normal distribution tables, from that you can get it. Anyway, what is my calculated value? My x1 bar this one, x2 bar this one, sigma 1 square by n1, sigma 1 equals sigma 2. This we calculated. 2.52 is my calculated value, test statistics. But this is, it's greater than your 1.645. This is tabulated one. This is tabulated value. How to calculate this tabulated value? There are tables. From the tables you can get it. Otherwise you can write Python code. Anyway, I will show you in Jupyter Notebook how to write Python code. Same thing, 2.52. This is 1.645. This 2.52 is right side of 1.645. It is inside critical region. Therefore, as your calculated value is exceeding alpha, I can say this, what is this, h0, as 2.52 is in critical region, you must reject null hypothesis. I already explained how to calculate p-value. This is my p-value. Anyway, in next slide I will show 0.0059. Here p-value, alpha is greater than or equal to p-value. Alpha is 0.05. It's greater than or equal to, my p-value is 0.0059. What I have to do? Reject. I must reject what? Reject h0. I must reject as p-value. What it says, as p-value is less than or equal to alpha, I must reject h0. Even if you want, you can calculate. Just see this one. Import pandas as PD, import numpy as NP, import math from these libraries. We discussed many times about these libraries. Def, how can I define a function? With it must start with def keyword, z underscore end underscore p, x1, x2. What is my formula? x1 bar minus x2 bar by under root of, what is this, sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. This is my formula. This is sigma 1, sigma 2, n1, n2. Formula says x1 minus x2 math dot sqrt square root of sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. This is my z value. I already explained how to calculate. If z is less than 0, it is simple. Here is my z. Z is less than 0 means somewhere like this. If z is less, stats dot norm dot CDF, isn't it? If I have z value, how can I calculate p value? This area, isn't it? that is stats.norm. CDF means cumulative distribution function. Else means if it is right side of 0, this is z equals 0. If it is right side of 0, I must subtract 1 minus. I already explained what is 1 minus stats.norm.cdf.cdf cumulative distribution function. That splitting point you will get, isn't it? Therefore, I am printing z as well as p. How to calculate p? Just I explained logic. How to calculate z also I explained logic. Just if you call this function, just this is x1 bar, this is x2 bar, this is sigma 1, this is sigma 2, this is n1, n2. Just if I call this one, I will get the values. Which values are we getting here? These are the values. This is my z, this is my z value, this is my p value, isn't it? Z and p values, so that I already explained how to make use this p value and z value. Just go to previous slide and check this p value. Anyway, we will go to Jupyter notebook and we will try to understand this piece of code. Just see here, just simple where we are. Let me show this one. Yes, just see this one. From scipy.stats.import.norm, p equal 0.95. 5% level of significance means 1 minus this 5% means that is confidence interval, isn't it? Value.norm.ppf. This will give me z value, isn't it? That is z value 1.645. Even if you want to confirm this one, I already explained many times this ppf is opposite of CDF. Cumulative distribution function always gives area, whereas ppf will give corresponding z value to this particular area, isn't it? That is 1.6445. That I already discussed. Even if you want, you can check this sample code. I already explained few seconds back. Def space z underscore p, x1 x2 sigma 1 sigma 2 n1 n2 z equal to x1 minus x2 by math.sqrt of sigma 1 square plus n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. If z less than 0, that is left tail test. Right, if it is greater than 0, p value is 1 minus stats.norm. Just if you run this piece of code, you will get a z value and p value. Just see, this is my z value and this is my p value. You can make use p value test or z test to test whether this null hypothesis is accepted or rejected, isn't it? In this context, therefore H naught would be rejected in both the cases, whether it is p value approach. If you take z value also, we can reject, isn't it? Just go through this lecture. If you have any difficulty, please keep a comment. Thank you very much.